I'm trying to beat every PS2 game possible. Yes, over 4,000 games. Can I do it before I lose my sanity? I guess we'll see. Today, I'm playing Klonoa 2, Lunatea's Veil. So, let's just get straight into it. We start off in what appears to be a dream, being asked for help by an unknown being. We see the main character, Klonoa, drifting in the sea until waking up on an island. We are greeted by Lolo, a priestess in training, and her sidekick, Popka. After introducing myself, they mentioned that Klonoa is the name of the Dream Traveler. After narrowly avoiding a monster attack, it was time to get moving. Lolo was able to power the ring that I'm carrying in order to help me defeat enemies along the way. My ring is used to grab enemies. Once holding an enemy, I have two options. The first is to throw the enemy. This can be used to defeat other enemies, or to destroy objects. The second option is to use the enemy to perform a double jump. Using my new abilities, I was able to make my way across the Sea of Tears and ring a bell. Still confused, I followed Lolo to somebody named Baguji, a wise prophet. After talking to him, I learned about 4 bells located in 4 different kingdoms, as well as the threat of a 5th bell that would cause mayhem if it managed to appear. These spells hold the power to make my ring even stronger. He then told us to make our way to the High Priestess because Lolo was not worthy of becoming a priestess. And so, once again, I put my new abilities to use and found the High Priestess. Here we learned that we need to collect the elements from the bells in order to prevent the 5th bell from appearing. After leaving the High Priestess, we are confronted by Leorina and Tat. They are a pair of sky pirates that are trying to get a hold of my ring and the elements. They try to stop my quest before it begins by sending an armored beast after me. After taking out the beast, Leorina takes off. I then ring the Bell of Tranquility and gather my first element. We make our way back to Baguji once again. He directs us to the next bell, located in Joliet. When we first arrive in Joliet, Tat manages to steal the element from us. She's able to split into 2 versions of herself, so we have to track down both parts. I soon came across the first special enemy type called a Keton. They allow you to fly for a short period of time. I like the idea of them, but from my experience, they handle quite poorly. Maybe I'm just bad, I don't know. Anyways, I moved through the level while solving some puzzles until I caught up with Tat. I easily caught her, but unfortunately, she didn't have the element, so I had to find her other half. I was able to find her at the end of the jungle slider, where I again had to catch her and get the element back. With the element back in my possession, I went to ring the next bell. Before I was able to do that, I was attacked by a monster. I managed to dodge its attacks and defeat it, allowing for a clear path to the bell to get the second element. We once again talk to Baguji and get information to find the next bell. We arrive in Voke and come across Leorina and Tat trying to create a fake ring. We hear them say that they need more power in order to make the ring, so they need to overload 2 generators, one above ground and one below ground. So I head underground to stop Tat. While making my way to the generator, I come across another unique enemy type called Boomies. Boomies are used to explode things in order to open a path. They also are able to be used multiple times without being defeated, allowing for more movement options. I continue deeper underground and eventually find the generator. I shut it off and then return to the surface to shut down the other generator. I traverse through the city while avoiding the many hazards it has, and then I find yet another unique enemy. The herbals allow you to jump higher than normal, which helps you get things that are out of reach. We once again find the generator and turn it off. When we return to Leorina, we get ambushed by a big metal machine, and we need to defeat it in order to progress. After that, Leorina tells us that the generators we shut down were actually decoys, and she was able to create the fake ring. Using that ring, she rang the bell and managed to get the 3rd element. All the power required to make the ring overloaded the reactors and they began to explode, destroying the city. We wouldn't let that happen, so we went to shut down the real generators and save the city. After sadly not getting the 3rd element, we decided to go and get the 4th. It was located in Mira-Mira, but it was impossible to get there without using the Ark to get across the Lake of Seclusion. The Ark isn't active, so we went to go find it and repair it. While on the Ark, we come across the last unique enemy, that being a Lickery. Lickeries are used to absorb enemies which change their color. Once they are a certain color, they can be used to break crystals and unblock the path. In this level, we also use them to power the engines of the Ark to get it up and running. After powering all the engines, the Ark is active and we use it to go to Mira-Mira to find the 4th element. After snowboarding down a mountain, we come across a structure and go inside. The inside is a labyrinth that involves flipping gravity, using switches to activate platforms, and various types of puzzles. I struggled through every room and managed to find the next bell. It was on the top of an old talking tree. It said that we have to pass a test before it would allow us to ring the bell. That test being a boss fight, of course. I continuously bashed into the egg until it hatched. I then proceeded to throw enemies at the hatchling until taking it down. We again head back to Baguji and talk with him. We give him the elements that we have for him to examine. But then it turns out that it was actually Leorna in disguise. She successfully tricked us into giving her the elements. She now has all of the elements, so we decide to go see the High Priestess for advice on what to do. After making it through the cave, we talk to the High Priestess. We learn that Leorna used to be a priestess, but she got impatient and decided to leave the temple and find her own way of getting power. So she went to the Sea of Tears and used the elements to make the 5th bell appear. She rings it, and the gates of the Kingdom of Sorrow open up. We must try to contain the terrible power she has released. So we fight through more enemies and solve more puzzles until we catch up with Leorna. She explains how she's going to use her new power to get revenge on Lunatea. She takes off to the last kingdom, and we once again have to try and stop her. After surfing through the sand, we find her again and she tries to use her powers. When she does, she instead gets cursed and turns into a giant bird-like creature. I then take out that creature and save Leorna. This is when she realizes that she was just a pawn that was used to summon the Kingdom of Sorrow. Because of this, she and Tat decide to help us finish our quest of saving Lunatea. Next step involved stopping the Ark before it was able to connect the Kingdom of Sorrow with Lunatea. So we get back on the Ark and then proceed to shut down the engines. After that, we all flew to the Kingdom of Sorrow using Leorna's plan. We began to traverse the kingdom, solving more puzzles and defeating more enemies. It wasn't long until we came across the King of Sorrow. He reveals that he wants to connect the kingdoms so everyone can remember Sorrow. We also learned that he had led us to him using false prophecies. Baguji was just an illusion that he created, and it was him that brought me to Lunatea in the first place. When he's done talking, he attacks us, claiming that the Dream Traveler would atone for Lunatea's sins. With the help of the elements from Leorna's fake ring, I was able to defeat the King of Sorrow. The king asks for my help one last time, so I ring the bell and reconnect the Kingdom of Sorrow to Lunatea. And as the king dies in my arms, I promise him that the world will no longer forget Sorrow and will no longer run away from it. Upon his death, I am granted the final element, the element of Sorrow. After that dramatic scene, Leorna and Tat decided that they would rebuild the Kingdom of Sorrow, and Lolo gave up her title of priestess so she could earn it on her own. We then say our goodbyes and return to our home world, proud with the fact that we helped save Lunatea. The credits roll and the game is over. It is now rating time. I give a 7 out of 10 for gameplay. I'm a huge fan of platformers, I can't get enough of them. I like the idea of using the enemies to help beat the game, but I kinda feel like more could have been done with it. I give a 7 out of 10 for the story. Saving the world is always a great time. I give The King of Sorrow a 5 out of 10. I don't really appreciate being manipulated and then getting attacked. Surely there are better ways of asking for someone's help. Overall, I enjoyed the game. It was fun. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. Have any questions, comments, or concerns? Let me know in the comments. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye bye.